Foxborough woke up and it feels like the season just flipped to a fresh set of pages. And today, this is one of those days where 4 different storylines look harmless on their own until you line them up and realize they're connected. One of them is a rookie getting talked about like a vet by a Patriots legend. Another is an offensive name that, if it ever walks through these doors, forces defenses to rethink how they play Drake May. Then you've got the road identity piece, noise, altitude, discipline, and whether this team really travels the way we say it does. And on top of all that, there's a medical update that could swing the whole possession. Which clue has you the most uneasy right now? You know that feeling when you're watching a game and you catch yourself thinking, that's not just talent, that's processu. Because there's a big difference between a rookie who pops on one highlight and a rookie who's quietly running the defense without most people even noticing. That's where the trouble starts for everybody else. There's a guy in our deep secondary who at first looked like he was just filling space. And then you look up and the whole unit around him is playing looser, faster, cleaner, like someone brought order to the noise. And when that happens, it's usually because the locker room trusts the voice making the calls. What really made me stop for a second was who said it. Not some hype merchant. Devin McCourty, 3 rings, captain. A guy who lived the Patriot way inside that building and knows exactly what it takes to play safety in Foxborough. And McCourty didn't sugarcoat it. He said what Craig Woodson has been doing shocked him. That's not a throwaway compliment either. McCourty explained why the position is so demanding. Safety isn't just reacting to routes. You're communicating non-stop. You're the boss of the back end. You're getting everyone aligned. You're fixing problems before the ball is even snapped. Then you zoom in on the context. Jalen Hawkins goes down, and Woodson, a rookie, steps in and basically plays the whole game, 90-something% of the snaps. That's a lot. Everything is on him. And instead of fading, he grows into it. Against the Texans in the divisional round, it finally jumped off the screen. 5 tackles, an interception, 3 pass breakups, and even a hit on the quarterback. But the point isn't the box score. It's what McCourty kept circling. Woodson is almost never out of position. He's steady, he's calm, he's playing like a vet. And when your safety is that clean, your linebackers can trigger faster, your corners can trust the help inside, and your pass rush gets that extra half second to get home. McCourty called it symmetry, and he's dead on. High-level safety play changes the whole shape of a defense. There's also a human piece here that actually matters on Sundays. Woodson and Hawkins both went to Cal. That trust is already baked in, that big brother feel on the field. McCourty compared it to what he had with Duron Harmon back in the day. You won't always see that in the stats, but you'll feel it on 3rd and long, when a quarterback hesitates for a beat, and that beat turns into a sack or a mistake. So I'll ask it straight, Patriots Nation. If this kid is already commanding the back end right now, what does he look like a year from now? Sit with that for a second, because the next part of the day isn't even about the defense. It's about giving Drake May another weapon, and that's when the chessboard gets interesting. Sometimes a roster feels pretty complete until you picture how it could get downright meme, because there's a difference between an offense that functions and an offense that forces defenses to pick their poison. That's where New England is sitting. Drake May has taken a real step. Stefon Diggs came back looking like his knee never got tested. And yet there's still that little voice in the back of your head. Something's missing. One more name that stops defenses from doubling without paying for it. That's why the radar starts blaring. For a while, the name in the air was A.J. Brown. The Mike Vrabel connection, the physical profile, the immediate punch it would bring. But that door isn't budging. Philadelphia isn't listening. And when one door stays shut, Foxborough starts looking for a window. The window being floated now is Brandon Ayuk. Yeah, Ayuk. The same Ayuk who turned down the Patriots before. The same Ayuk who played the long game to get a new deal with the 49ers. But NFL fairy tales come with an expiration date. Since he signed that extension, things have gone sideways in San Francisco. ACL tear in 2024, didn't play at all in 2025, tension building, and then came the line that changes the entire tone. John Lynch, speaking to reporters, made it sound like Ayuk has taken his last snap as a 49er. When a GM says something like that out loud, it's not subtle. That's basically an open lane for teams to call. Before the injury, Ayuk looked like a superstar in the making. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, near double-digit touchdowns, real separation on intermediate routes, and the kind of receiver who can win one-on-one when the moment gets tight. Put Diggs on one side and Ayuk on the other, and you're not covering everybody. Period. Drake May gets cleaner reads, friendlier matchups, and less pressure to be perfect. For a young quarterback, that's the kind of setup that accelerates everything. But it comes with a cost, high picks, a big contract, and the one question Vrabel is never going to shrug off: attitude, culture. This isn't just a roster rebuild, it's an identity rebuild. If the staff believes Ayuk is a problem in the locker room, that conversation ends right there. No drama, no long debate. If they think the environment is strong enough, clear leadership, a growing quarterback, a team earning respect again, then you understand why it would even be on the board. Chances like that don't show up every offseason. And while fans argue price versus upside, one thing is obvious. If that call happens, the ripple hits the whole league. All right, exhale for a second, because what comes next isn't about the passing game at all. It's about winning the hardest kind of football there is. In January, on the road, some teams look great at home. Then there are the rare ones that don't shrink when everything stacks up against them. Crowd, travel, weather, pressure. Since Mike Vrabel took over, the Patriots have started living in that second category. And the number is simple: 0 road losses, 8 games, 8 wins. That's not a fluke, that's a way of operating. Now the test gets louder and heavier. Denver, Mile High, AFC Championship. Altitude that steals your legs, a crowd that makes your cadence feel useless, and an opponent that knows how to turn that environment into a weapon. Vrabel didn't dodge any of it, he leaned into it, and he laid out where these games get decided without making it sound mystical. It starts with protecting the football. Basic? Sure. On the road, it's survival. Vrabel pointed to moments from different trips, critical situations at the end of halves, 5-minute offense to close a game, making the kick when things feel shaky, getting the stop when momentum is trying to slip. Every road game writes its own story, but the common thread is discipline. In Denver especially, you cannot hand them extra possessions. There's another piece people overlook: a travel-ready identity. Vrabel always talks about packing your identity. The stadium changes, but who you are can't. Noise can't wreck your operation, your communication, your alignment. With a silent count and thinner air, it turns into a mental exam. You can't burn timeouts because you can't hear. You can't get yourself behind the sticks because your snap timing is sloppy. You can't turn third and medium into third and long because you weren't locked in. Defensively, it gets even more raw. Home momentum is real. 1 first down turns into 3, 1 scramble turns into the entire stadium believing. Vrabel keeps hammering resiliency, and he's right. The game will swing. It always swings. The question is who panics less when it does, who keeps executing when the building is trying to swallow them. This Patriots team has shown it can take a punch. It can make a mistake, correct it, and move on without spiraling. That doesn't always show up in the stat sheet, but you can feel it in how the offense responds after a quick 3 and out. You see it in how the defense answers after a dumb penalty. It's posture, it's confidence, it's maturity. So the question isn't whether Denver is hard, it is. The real question is whether this Patriots team knows exactly who it is when the margins get tight. And so far, away from Foxborough, the answer has been pretty clear. But hold on, because the last part of this day isn't about mindset. It's about bodies, who's available, who isn't, and how that can tilt an entire drive. Some games don't get decided in the playbook. They get decided on the injury report. They get decided in that awkward stretch of time before the inactives list drops. And New England is walking into Sunday with exactly that kind of tension. Because while everyone's celebrating getting back to an AFC championship for the first time since the 2018 season, the roster is dealing with 2 names that shift the board in 2 different ways. Start with the newest punch. Carlton Davis was playing his best football in New England at the exact moment the game took him out. Against Houston, 2 interceptions, physical coverage, clean eyes, real confidence, and then the possible concussion. Off the field, right in the middle of a statement performance. You could feel the air change, because he isn't just a guy. He's the veteran corner you brought in to handle serious assignments when the games get loud. Vrabel's update gave a thread of hope. Davis was out there at practice, limited in the red non-contact jersey. That's progress in the concussion protocol. It means he's moving forward, and we've seen it happen. Players have cleared without missing a game, including the Patriots' own Christian Gonzalez earlier in this playoff run. But it's not automatic. Concussions don't negotiate. Every day matters. Every symptom changes the plan. If Davis plays, this secondary can stay aggressive. If he can't, the defense has to protect itself more, and that changes calls, it changes leverage, it changes how you match up. On the other side is an absence that's been dragging and quietly squeezing the offense, Mac Hollins. And this one hits differently because it isn't just about targets. It's blocking, it's leadership, it's presence. He does the dirty work that doesn't make the highlight reel, but helps create chunk plays. Drake May trusts him, and the numbers back it up. 46 catches, 65 targets, 550 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a real role as a physical receiver who can help in the run game and protection. But the abdominal injury has stayed frustratingly murky, and the update wasn't encouraging. Vrabel made it clear Hollins wasn't practicing. That puts his status in real doubt for Sunday. And in a conference title game, that matters. It forces other guys into bigger roles. It forces small tweaks in routes, protection, and red zone plans. It forces May to find comfort somewhere else. So here we are, a defensive starter racing the clock, and an important offensive piece still stuck in the gray area. This is the kind of week that tests depth, preparation, and mental edge. And when you line up all 4 storylines, you can see why this feels bigger than just one game. At the end of the day, it all connects. A rookie already being talked about like a leader. An offense that could take another step if the right name ever lands in the building. A team that's built a road identity under Vrabel and now has to prove it in the loudest environment yet. And an injury report that could swing entire possessions. This isn't random. It's construction. It's identity. It's a Patriots group that's starting to recognize itself in the biggest moments again.